Hey everyone, Aria Labs here with a blog to watch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Jeanrichard Terrascope. This is one of the nicest, I guess you could say, quasi-entry-level Swiss mechanical sport watches around. This is a relatively new release. Jeanrichard is part of it's basically a sister brand of Girard-Perregaux, and over the last couple of years has sort of realigned themselves as a more entry-level price brand. And how did they do that? Well, they used to use only in-house made movements. Now they still have some watches with the in-house made movements, most notably is the JR1000, but they're using more like movements from like Edda and Sellita, which allows them to keep the price down, to make them a little bit more accessible. And I think that's a good thing, because you had a lot of cool Jeanrichard watches over its last, I guess you could say, decade, but a lot of them have just been so expensive it was too easy for people to go to other brands. When you had like a cool sport watch that was like, you know, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, it was like, that's great and all, but there's a lot of other things out there. So what they did is they went down a little bit, and I think that it was a very, very smart decision. So the Terrascope is kind of the sister model of the Aquascope, which is the diver. They have very similar dials. The Aquascope, of course, is more of a dive watch that has a rotating diver's bezel, but the case is very, very similar on either of them. I happen to quite like this dial a lot for a lot of reasons. One, it's very legible. Those hands are fantastic. They've always used this cool arrow hour hand, which I always find to be very easy to spot on the dial. So you not only have a difference between the two hands, but they are properly sized, rich with illuminant, as you can see, and just overall attractive. This is what they call the white silver dial, which is nice. There's a blue dial, there's a black dial, there's a bunch of different dial versions. And one thing I want to say about the Terrascope, as well as the Aquascope to a different degree, is that similar to watches like most Panerais, this is the type of design that you can put on a lot of different straps and it will look attractive. And that's not something you can say with all watches. So what I'm trying to say is that this has a brown leather strap, and that's fine and all, but you could get wild with this and put a bunch of different straps. And it will not only change the look of the watch, but it has a type of design which allows it to be very versatile in the type of strap that you attach it to, and it'll still look good. And that's a cool thing for people that like to mix and match straps. Again, this is just a brown leather strap. I'm not a fan of this deep brown color for leather straps. Some people love it. I just find it to be a little bit boring. But again, there's this watch from the factory is available with a bunch of different strap colors. They have a cool light brown ostrich one, which looks really gorgeous, actually. So the case is steel. It's 45 millimeters wide, maybe 46 millimeters wide. 46 millimeters wide. So it is a large watch, but because of the sort of very stubby short lugs there, you have something that you could wear very easily, even though it's that size. And it's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is not a thin case, but I think it's like probably 13 millimeters thick, so it's not ridiculously tall on your wrist, and it is relatively flat on the back, so it is comfortable. It has I guess you could say modern sort of military style feel, where, I mean, it is stylish and large, but it has a very utilitarian dial that I happen to be drawn to. I think that's something which is very attractive in a watch, and I enjoy when something is straightforward and utilitarian. Of course, you have polished hour markers and things like that, so there's a little bit of a blingy aspect. You have this nice brushed bezel, different polishes on the case, brushed and polished, so it does have a high-end feel to it, but it's very much sort of a tool watch, and that's something that I can really appreciate in the type of watch that I'm usually drawn to. Inside this particular Terrascope is a Sellita SW300 automatic. That is Sellita's version. It's kind of their clone of the Edda 2892. So many people who know Sellita are familiar with the SW200 movement, which is a clone of the 2824. The SW300, again, is a clone of the 2894, which is a higher grade movement. So again, this is the Jeanrichard Terrascope. It comes on these straps, as well as a bracelet. I happen to like the bracelet version a lot. Price on the strap is, I believe, $2,900, and with the bracelet, it's more at $3,500, but still a pretty good watch for the money. And you can see the full review on a blog to watch. Thanks.